I found it curious that it was taking an inordinate amount of time to get what was a situation between two fights. You know, obviously Usyk and Joshua and Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury signed, sealed and delivered and across the line, because both of these people have fought nearly 4, 5, 6 months ago. So in the world of boxing, things move quickly. You'd like to think that there was some form of response that took the iconic division, the one that carries all the interest, not necessarily for the right reasons sometimes, but because it is the blue ribbon part of boxing, the heavyweight division, and you'd like to see these fights being made. What I am pleased about is that we have actually seen, whether I think Dillian Whyte's mucked about in the past and could have taken fights that perhaps he's avoided and then cried out about not getting a shot, I am pleased that he's got a shot. I'm pleased that there is a process that makes the mandatory challenger have the right to have these fights. Otherwise, you'd listen to these people like Suleiman, the WBC president, and they talk in riddles. They don't give you answers, and you don't seem to have the genuity of those that have earned the right to have these fights, getting these fights made. So Dillian Whyte now has his shot. It'll be interesting to see when Joshua and Usyk follow in behind. Yeah, because this is an interesting landscape. Because we may find a situation that we never see Joshua fight Fury if he gets done again by Usyk. I have my own views on that, because Joshua is such a cash cow that I'm beginning to look at the machinations of, could he actually beat Usyk, because of the sinister world of boxing and how it gets held together, and how people are going to lose huge revenue streams when deals are taken away from Sky, DAZN don't buy BT, and Joshua doesn't beat Usyk, and all of a sudden major parts of people's empires aren't able to be monetized quite as much.
Well, we're getting clarity.
So this is good. This is good. I'm glad they've made their fight.
It's done. In the last few hours before the deadline last night, it came through that Whyte had agreed everything and it was signed. There are still a few squabbles going on in the background, as Frank Warren, Tyson's UK promoter, will explain in a moment. But certainly Tyson Fury had his own message for Dillian Whyte.
I can't wait to punch Dillian Whyte's face right in, mate. I'm going to give him the best eye that he's ever had in his life, boy. Dillian Whyte, train hard, sucker, because you're getting annihilated, bum. Dillian Whyte, I'm going to knock you out, sucker. You're getting it, you dosser.
He started that message inside wherever he was, and then finished it off outside, clearly. I mean, he's got a lot to say, and Whyte's saying nothing.
Well, that's his style, isn't it? I mean, he has always had a lot to say. You know, when he turned up to press conferences in the Batman outfit, taking the mickey out of Vladimir Klitschko, he's not been short of words. Up until now, I'm a huge admirer of Tyson Fury's. Up until now, he's backed these words up. I expect him to be able to back them up against Dillian Whyte. And I'm sure Dillian Whyte will have some things to say of his own in due course. And as you rightly point out, there will be all the unsavoury arguments like we had on Saturday night, leading all the way up to the fight, where horse feather gloves can't be utilised and Kell Brook had to change his gloves in the ring and all that sort of nonsense. We'll be hearing an element of that going on. But the main focus is British fans are going to see a bona fide clash between the lineal heavyweight champion of the world and somebody who they think is a real legitimate challenger. I still think the outcome, unless Tyson Fury is going to sleepwalk his way through this, is a foregone conclusion. But I think we'll see a decent fight.
Well, it's taken a long time, that is for sure. And there's still a lot of toing and froing in terms of financial detail, it would seem. That's the message that came over to me in the last 15 or so minutes when I got through to Frank Warren, Tyson's UK promoter. We had a brief chat. And I said, first off, Frank, were you never, ever in any doubt that this fight was actually going to happen?
Contracts are signed. There's still a couple of things that we've got to sort out at the moment before we make the official announcement. But I believe everything will be okay, and we move forward. But as far as Dillian Whyte's concerned, why wouldn't he sign the contract? It's life-changing money for him, huge purse. The fact that we won the purse bid and beat his promoter, it was great news for him, because if that had been the other way around, he'd have got $2 million less. So he's really, really having it off, and he's got a great opportunity not to just get the purse, which is just under $8 million, but also an upside of $4 million if he wins the fight. So that's where we are. But there's a couple of things to be sorted out, and then we'll make the official announcement.
Frank, we understand it's going to be Wembley, April the 23rd. Are we looking at a record-breaking event here?
We're still looking at another venue. So at the moment, that's up in the air. But the fact of the matter is, it will be a record-breaking event. It's the highest ever purse bid in the world of boxing. And it's certainly the biggest, financially, the biggest fight that any of two British boxers are meeting in a ring.
I mean, as you say, you put in a record purse bid. You're confident, clearly, this will make you guys big money.
Well, we don't do it for a charity, that's for sure, Jim. We feel it's a big event. It is a big event, and there's been a lot of response towards it. Whilst we're waiting for these contracts to be lodged and certain other things to be ironed out. And I'm confident it's going to be a record-busting event. I'm really confident of that.
How's Tyson about it all?
Well, he's a bit, he just wants to fight. It's just a shame it's taken so long to get where we got to, but we have, and in boxing you have to have patience. As I say, we got a couple of things still to sort out, and then we'll go from there.
I mean, there's always things to sort out, Frank. I mean, Tyson Fury was suggesting only recently that Dillian Whyte wanted money to turn up for a press conference. So, I mean, this kind of haggling is normal, is it?
Well, there's as I say, there's all sorts of things which I can't comment on at the moment until we've got everything in place. And once everything's in place, I'm sure we'll move forward for a really successful event, and all the things that happen surrounding it, I'm sure will come out in due course. But it's been to say it's been a headache is an understatement.
Does the winner of this fight the winner of Usyk Joshua?
I don't see why they shouldn't. I mean, what else is there? That's the next biggest fight out there, and that's the one we want to see.
Wow. That was Frank earlier on this morning. Simon, I mentioned it at the top, but I think after what we saw at the weekend, and sure, Khan was not the Amir Khan that we've known and loved from before, but Kell Brook did brilliantly winning it. Yeah. And now hard on the heels follows this, a massive one.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
I mean, it could be the best year ever.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the spectacle was very much north-centric. We've got two fighters fighting in a geographical situation where, Amir Khan is from the northwest. You've got the draw of that. You've got Kell Brook, across the Pennines from another part of the country where there was a geographic rivalry and a history of bad blood between these two guys going back 10 years. It's slightly different than this one. And, of course, it's a stadium fight, potentially because of the nature of the ball. It's the heavyweight championship of the world. That's the lure. And, I'm suspecting it will probably be in Cardiff. But
Cardiff or Wembley?
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine it will probably be in Cardiff. But the bottom line is that either which way, it's a big fight. It's taken the time to make. It's right that it's being made. And whether there's been demands behind the scenes, I do feel a kind of empathy with Dillian Whyte. All this, take it because it's the biggest payday you're going to get. Take it because that's what you should be doing. You're the B side of the fight. Take it because it's a small part of a big pot. He gets one shot at this. So it's incumbent upon his management team to make sure he gets the maximum opportunity, because he's going in against somebody that most people think pound for pound will beat him. Yeah. He's going in on one opportunity to be able to make his money. Tyson Fury's getting 80%. He's earned the right to do that to some extent. But I would have felt that a more fairer split might have been 70-30. So if there's arguments going on behind the scenes about certain demands, about what he may or may not want, I'm not sure that that's all diminishing and demeaning of Dillian Whyte. He's the number one challenger for this particular belt. He's on an 80-20 split. It really is basically, you're the B side, you're lucky to be here, get on with it. And when we heard Usyk talking to Joe Joyce about a 90-10 split, everyone was outraged. And that was for a lesser competition to some extent and a lesser bauble. At this particular juncture, you've got arguably the biggest belt in arguably the biggest fight with the undefeated lineal champion of the world. That's ultimately the reasons why all these belts are scattered. Tyson Fury beating Klitschko and opening up the heavyweight division has opened it up for everybody, Anthony Joshua included. Yeah. So I just feel that Dillian Whyte is right to try and push the envelope a little bit.
And push it he is, because we're hearing that financial demands about coming to a press conference, a six-figure financial demand.
But I don't blame him.
And a private jet over from Portugal.
Well, that may be the case. Private jet from Portugal costs you 16 grand. It's not even an argument, is it? Yeah. I mean, let's talk about the reality.
I mean, this is a dress rehearsal though, Simon, isn't it? The big one we want is AJ Fury.
Yeah, I mean, that's the conversation I was sort of alluding to, because I can't see how Anthony Joshua beats Usyk based upon what we've seen. What we've seen is Usyk demolished him. Whichever way you want to look at it, he demolished him. And unless there's going to be a massive sea change, and you wouldn't put it past Anthony Joshua to some extent, because going into a fight with Usyk, if he loses this fight, where does his career go? Yeah. Where does Eddie Hearn's cash cow go? Where does the opportunity to be able to... So it makes me feel that there's something more, that turning down step-aside money was about credibility. And he'll deny that there was a step-aside opportunity, but everyone knows that there was, right? And the conversation was being had. If Joshua loses this fight, then he, as a credible fighter, on the world stage is pretty much done, and it makes you think that there may just be a twist in the circus that enables him to overcome Usyk to make this fight against Fury. Because let's be honest, the boxing world is held together by some rather pungent glue at times.
Okay, so it's Fury against Whyte. Will it be at Wembley? Will it be at Cardiff? We are yet to find out. Will it be April the 23rd? It's looking that way. But will the atmosphere be the one that will top all UK boxing atmospheres? And who do you take? Is there anyone out there that gives Dillian Whyte a chance in this? 03717 22 3344 81089.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.